Today we're taking a look at the 2017 Kia Soul Exclaim. So the whole look and feel of the interior of this car is kind of young and hip. I mean, we have black soft touch materials, we have this orange contrast stitching, and then we have just a lot of like blacks and grays, which are pretty cool looking actually. This steering wheel looks like it's right out of a little sports car with the cut at the bottom. It also has a lot of integrated controls without taking up too much of the gripping area, which is nice. We have the Kia Uvo system, which is their large touchscreen. It looks very much like what you would see in a Hyundai because, of course, Kia and Hyundai are sister companies. But here it's been Kia-ized, so it has slightly different look and feel. So that map looks just like it would in a Hyundai. The vents with integrated speakers look a little corny. I mean, that's kind of like little vertical towers. It looks like standalone subwoofers that you would have next to your computer. They don't integrate very well with the dash. Not my favorite thing. And then there's the shifter down here, which is, again, it's a little overstyled for my taste, but it's functional and it's easy to use, and it's not some newfangled gear switching system. And in reverse, I of course get a reverse camera, and that's actually a pretty big one, which is kind of nice, makes it super easy to see. So what is the big headline about this car? Well, it's what's under the hood. See, the 27 Kia Exclaim is the first time they've offered a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine in this car. And the horsepower? Yeah, 201 horsepower in this silly little box. So is it worth buying and is it worth driving? Let's find out. The Kia Soul that we see here, it comes loaded. It's got the big touchscreen, it's got leather, it's got a black interior, it has a huge panorama sunroof. Really, this car on paper is amazing. However, once you start driving it, yeah, not as amazing, to be honest. The handling is better than the earlier ones, but that power, come on. The transmission is so slow to respond. Come on, any day now. I mean, there's like a 3-second gap whenever I'm manually shifting. What's the point of a twin clutch if it can't actually shift and go, shift and go? What? Okay, let's manually shift down to first. Go. Come on, oh, a little wheel spin. Oh, it hit the red line, it shifted for me. Oh, it just shifts at red line when I'm in manual mode. It's actually much better if I just let it shift itself. That's actually not so bad. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and just stop here completely. And we're gonna stop completely, and now I'm just gonna floor it. First off, a lot of wheel spin, and it shifts hard when it hits that gear. And it gets up to 60 really quick, actually. Okay, this isn't so bad. This is pretty good. I could enjoy this. The trick is knowing how to drive it. You can't just throw it into manual and start shifting all over the place. It doesn't like that. It doesn't know what to do with that. But if you stick to within the pre-programmed functions and you keep it in drive mode for around town, or if you really want to floor it, you put it into manual and then just let it do its own manual shifts when it hits the red line, it's actually pretty fun. You know, one thing I can't get over on this car is the suspension. It is so much better than the very first Soul. The very first Soul had abysmal suspension. I mean, it was dreck. It honestly felt a little unsafe. And I feel weird saying that about any modern car, but the fact was, I really did not like that first car. Over the few iterations they've had of the Soul since that first one, they've actually done a remarkable job of making this car much more fun to drive. It finally drives like it looks, and that's important, I think. And that's probably why they don't call this a Kia Soul Turbo, because turbo would designate that it's a fast performance version of the car, which it really isn't. It's just a better version of the car. It's quicker, it still gets great gas mileage, it still has all the utility that you expect in a Kia Soul, and it's just a little weird, which that's what the buyer of this car is looking for. They want something different. They don't want to get a Focus or a Civic like their friends have. They want to get something where they're like, oh, hey, look, it's Bob in his really weird car. And then Bob will show up and he's like, yeah, I'm the guy with the weird car. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I know that dude. That's Bob. So one of the biggest surprises with this car is really what it lacks, because you're spending about $28,000 on this vehicle. And it's really, it's lacking in some surprising places. First off, active safety technology. It doesn't have a lot. It has blind spot identification, so it's got that going for it. But there's no adaptive cruise control. There's no collision mitigation system. There's no anything that is modern and advanced in that respect.
In this price range, there are a number of very interesting and affordable alternatives to the Kia Soul Exclaim. The first car to consider is the Honda Fit. This plays to the quirky and practical buyer that would be considering the Kia Soul. The plucky little Honda defies physics with its second-row magic seats. They fold both up or flat depending on your payload, giving this car unrivaled versatility. Best of all, even if you add every significant option to the top-end model, you're still thousands less than this Kia. An EXL with leather, navigation, CVT, and heated seats is only around $25,000. When you do compare this Fit with the Kia Soul Exclaim, the Honda does come up short on power. It only has 130 ponies, which is equal to the base trim Soul, but far less than this turbocharged version. That said, I still prefer the corner carving abilities of the Honda Fit versus the turbocharged Kia Soul. Another odd duck that packs in surprising versatility is the Fiat 500X. For the same price as the Kia Soul Exclaim, you can pick up an all-wheel drive equipped 500X Lounge Edition. This packs in 180 horsepower attached to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and it seats 5 comfortably. Economy is right up there too, with up to 30 miles to the gallon highway and 21 city. Now, granted, the transmission is not my favorite. It seems unsure of which gear it should be in half the time. But that's a small price to pay when you're looking this good. And I wouldn't even consider driving a Kia Soul through terrain like this. Now, the next car to consider is a bit of a stretch on this list of weird but wonderful competitors to the Kia Soul, but it is brand new and might not be on many shoppers' radars yet. This is the 2017 Volkswagen Alltrack 1.8T. And believe it or not, you can get this all-wheel drive mounted machine for less than a Kia Soul Exclaim if you hold back on some options. A base trim Alltrack S with 6-speed DSG transmission starts at $27,770. And that includes the brilliant 1.8-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder for about the same price as the Kia Soul Exclaim we're driving in this review. It's also worth noting that adaptive cruise control is an option on the Volkswagen if you bump up to a mid-range Alltrack as part of their driver assistance package, which also includes a number of other great advanced safety features. And of course, the Volkswagen Alltrack drives like a Volkswagen. It feels solid, it has excellent handling and versatility that has made Volkswagen wagons legendary. Now, it's interesting to consider that the only direct competitors to the Soul, the Scion XB and the Nissan Cube, are both now discontinued. So maybe Weird only gets manufacturers so far. If you're into color-changing interior lighting, a body inspired by a toaster, and a near vertical seating position with a little extra turbo power, it's quite possible that the Kia Soul Exclaim is your vehicular soulmate after all.
That's my roundup for Driving Sports TV. I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to comment below, rate this video. We read all of the comments. We may not respond to all of them, but we do read them. So please tell us what you're thinking. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, drive safe.